The following is a Thorpe TV production, done in cooperation with Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very special SOCS show tonight, brought to you from the shooting range at MrHolster's ranch, somewhere way up north near the Canadian border. Ladies and gentlemen, a big, big round of applause for that interesting individual, MrHolster! MrHolster! That bozo is he? Oh, wait! Howdy, pards, that's me, MrHolster! Yeah, I have to admit, Jack did it. When Jack programmed the program for tonight, he put it in at 8 a.m. instead of 8 p.m. Frankly, he's been hitting his namesake a little hard lately, so. Yeah, the little guy, he always gets a little heavy on the this time of year. That's when he got divorced. But that's all right, because it gives us the opportunity to have this very, very special show. Tonight we're going to talk about the Ruger Police 6 that we talked about earlier. We're going to take a few shots with it, talk about it, and then we'll... Wait, but first. No, not first. We'll do it after we shoot. We'll go ahead and shoot, and then we'll talk about that. Before we talk about the gun, we'll talk about that, but we'll do it after we shoot. Are you following this? Of course not. Good. Okay, here we go. Noticed I dumped those rounds on the ground. So in real life, if I were doing it, I would dump them on the ground. And I think I've told you that story before about the police officer that was in a shooting when he was off duty, carrying his revolver. And they showed up and asked him how many shots he fired, and he said he'd shot 8 rounds. And they go, "Are you sure?" And he says, "Oh yeah." And they opened his revolver, looked, 2 had been discharged. He said, "Here." Reached in his pocket and pulled out the other 6 rounds. Go, "There you are, 8. So he needed to use more than the first 6 rounds to get out of trouble. Had to reload, and it took 2 more rounds. The point of this is he actually spent the time taking those empties and putting them in his sport coat, because that's what he always does at the shooting range. Instead, just drop them on the ground. He probably lost 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, just taking the rounds and storing them away in his sport coat like he does at the range all the time. So even though you're just going to the range for fun, shoot and train like it's the real deal, guys. Otherwise, you'll find yourself, when it hits the fan, you're reverting back to what you always do. And I'm as guilty as anybody of that, till that incident. And even then, I slip up now and then after that. And I have to keep telling myself, you know, you can't just go and have fun at the range. You gotta still do it the right way, or it could cause you problems. Now I got that done. What I was going to talk to you about there, when I got confused, well, more confused than usual. This is a special show because, yeah, it wasn't Jack. I made that up. Jack was going to be the fall guy for me. No, it was me. I put the wrong time into my program, and it aired at 8 this morning. So this is a special extra show for those guys out there who had it planned tonight to have a nice, relaxing time watching my show and maybe drinking a beer or having a good ride. So I'm giving you this to make up for it, because, you know, I felt bad about that. So. And also, because I felt I'm going to give you an extra chance. So here's your chance, an extra chance to win the 1,000 sub giveaway, which is going to be drawn pretty soon, because we're getting pretty darn close to 1,000 subs. here's your extra chance, and I'm not going to count this at all, so this is going to give you an extra freebie chance by going down below right now and putting in, I want an extra chance. I want an extra chance. You do that and you'll get in the bean pot with an extra freebie chance because of my goof up. And while you're doing that, if you don't have a drink, well, nip out to the fridge and get one, and I'll give you a little time. We'll just sit back. Howdy, pards, I'm back. Hey, that first half of the video, wasn't that nice camera work? Thank you. Thank you. I tell you, Jack was doing the camera today, and, I hate to say it, he's passed out over there in the weeds. So we had to stop. I'm sorry. No, seriously, it wasn't Jack, it was me. And the funny part is I didn't even realize that I had blocked the camera lens. I ran out of space on the camera because I had so much crap in it. So you got to watch that first half of this show, which was a half of the first half of a show. and you know what? I left it on there because that's the way my day has been today, from the moment I got up and programmed in the show for tonight and put it on at 8 a.m. instead of 8 p.m. But I figure there's only a handful of you that really had nothing else to do and showed up for this special version. But don't forget to write in down below your chance, your extra chance. And I assume now you've got your beverage and you've written that down anyways. And if you stuck with me, even though there was only half a camera. Seriously, it's been one of those days, and I'll run you through the day. Well, I won't tell you the whole day, but I'll tell you the part. I had oxtail soup for lunch, and it was left over from the other night, and I reheated it, and I had it for lunch, and I scraped everything out of the pan on the second bowl. I had two bowls of oxtail soup, and I scraped it out of the pan, and I put a little water in the pan, and I took this, I guess it's polymer, or was polymer. I took this plastic spoon. I had this, it was a ladle, plastic ladle, and I put water in the pan, and I turned it up fairly high, and I mixed it. I did it just like that, too. And then I put the lid on it with the spoon. I had the spoon in there, and I put the lid on it, and I was letting it heat up a little bit, and then I turned it off, right? And went off into the tack room to do other things. And about a half an hour later, I went, wow, I wonder if my computer's all right. It kind of smells like it's burning. It smells like burnt plastic. And I felt the computer. No, it feels all right. I went, what is that? And I went out of the tack room, and I had, instead of turning the stove off, I'd actually bumped it past, all the way around past, and had it on high. And there is no spoon anymore. Well, there is. It's on the bottom of the pan in this molten heap. And you couldn't even hardly see in the whole building. It had gotten so smoky, and so I had to open up the entire building for an hour and a half to air it out. It took an hour and a half to air it out, by the way. It still kind of smells in there, but it took an hour and a half to air it out. And so I ruined my mother's good pot. I'm sure there's no way to salvage it, and the ladle is certainly not salvageable. So that was, and so then I decided, well, what the heck? I went back and decided to check YouTube, try to get current on some of the stuff I've missed, and realized by the comments that my program had been programmed incorrectly and had already aired. And then I went, oh crap. Well, you know what? I'm going to go down the shooting range and do some shooting, and I'll give them an extra special program, because there may be some guys out there planning on watching it tonight, right? So right now it is 4:30. It's 4:30. And yeah, I decided to grab a cigar. And you know, my cigar, my humidor, I've had a cup in there for years that I put a mixture of rye whiskey and water in. And for some reason, and I thought it was, wow, the tack room's really dry. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this? And I filled it up twice this week. So I went in there to get a cigar, and my cigars were all kind of frankly wet. The cup after 40 years no longer is holding liquid. And so it leaked into the humidor, and then I had it on this antique table, so then I had to take everything off to make sure the table's all right. And it was all right. The humidor pretty much absorbed, and the cigars absorbed the moisture, even though I'd filled it up 3 times. And actually, this one cigar that I was trying to smoke here, and it's gone out. It absorbed most of it, I think. And you know, I like to get these problems behind me right away when I make a mistake, and so I thought I'm going to smoke that right away and get it behind me. The rest of them looks not so bad, and I took them all out of there and set something else up for the time being because the inside of the humidor was all soaking wet. And I'm fortunate that it didn't leak through onto that table, because that table's like 125 years old, and my dad and I refinished that table, and I would have been really upset if I'd ruined that table. So at least I didn't ruin the table. I think I may have ruined the humidor, though. And I ruined this cigar. So that was accomplishment number... Well, that would have been number 2. The mistiming of the video would have been number 1. That had been number 2. And then the burning of the ladle would have been number 3. And let's hope I can make it through the rest of the day with that. And I'm not going to do anything the rest of the day. That's it. Okay? This is it. I'm going to throw this day in the junk pile, and tomorrow morning I'm going to get up and start all over again. And when you've seen what's gone on in Dallas, you know, my day's not that bad. It could be a heck of a lot worse. So I'm not going to get upset by it, although the humidor is kind of upsetting because that was a Christmas present from my mother when I was 18. So, and don't say anything about that being not such a good gift to give a kid at 18, but that was a present from her, so I'm a little upset about the humidor too, but I think I can salvage it. But bad day here, but nowhere near as bad as it could be, so I'm truly blessed to be where I am. I made it to this point in my life where I can come to the shooting range on this beautiful day, and it is beautiful up here. 70-some degrees, fresh, clean, northern Canadian air blowing in. Everything is green and beautiful and quiet. Here, let's listen. You can't complain about that. I can think of times where I had to go to the bathroom really bad, was stuck in a car, and knew I wasn't going to have a chance to go to the bathroom until my shift was over like 5 hours later. And I've just crossed my legs and waited till I got out of there. And even that would have been a better day than... You know what I'm saying? Very fortunate to be where I am. I'm very happy. I feel sorry for the family members of the police officers that were taken down in Dallas, and taken for no reason at all other than someone was obviously had mental problems and was kind of goaded into it by, I feel, powers that be not nipping this in the bud 2 years ago. And a lot of police officers have died since then on this same type of thing. I think we got real problems in this country, and it stems from the top. A leader should lead by example, should not be utilizing these things to accomplish other things and egg them along. And that's what I feel has been going on. I feel we have had very decisive leadership, and it's split this country, and it's ruining this country, frankly. And there's no sense in me talking. I know you know what I'm talking about, so let's move on from that. But if you got a chance to say prayers for those people and the police officers, you know, a lot of police officers have died in the line of duty over the years. And they are akin to our military, who have died and given up their lives for our freedom. So maybe give that a thought tonight before you go to bed. But so I can't complain about my just plain... You know, you get on these things sometimes. You'll have a great day. For some reason, everything goes perfect, and you get so much more accomplished than you ever thought you would. And then you have these days where you really weren't planning on doing much of anything, and everything you do just turns into crap. And if it turns out like it did for me today, that's still a good day. I've had a lot of days where things didn't go wrong, and I made it through everything I was supposed to be doing, and wasn't as much fun as today. So I have no complaints, but I did feel bad about programming the program. So I gave you this extra program and gave you the extra shot. And you can see my little deal on the gun there. And here, of course, is, well, you can see half of it. Here, of course, is, because you probably couldn't see the gun or me shooting. I don't know. I can't wait till I see. Now I got 9 minutes and 58 seconds. It's going to be hard to load it and get it on by 8 o'clock and join up the other footage. So, but I will take a brief moment to talk about this as just an absolutely fantastic old gun. There's so many great old revolvers out there. Next time you feel like you want to go to a gun shop and buy a gun, you know, give a thought to looking for an old used revolver. Because that old used revolver probably spent most of its life sitting in a nightstand drawer or a desk drawer. And it's just yearning to have somebody like you buy it and take it to the range and actually use it. And one side of it will probably look like brand new and the other side will probably be all scuffed up. But, you know, give it a little TLC and give it a second life. Get yourself a good quality used revolver, maybe an old Smith & Wesson or a nice Ruger 6 like this Police 6 or a Security 6 or a Speed 6 if you can find it. And take it home and give it a home. Take it to the range and shoot it. There's so much life in these guns, and most of them have never, ever, hardly been shot. So there you go, pards. Sorry about the mix-up this morning. Sorry about the mix-up now, but that's the way my day's been, so I thought I'd share it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Till next time, go out and stay safe.